Two big stories on this Tuesday. Michael Vick and the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Minnesota Vikings at the Link. This game was postponed from Sunday. Also, the Pro Bowl rosters are out. As you see, Deshaun Jackson, he's getting ready as well. The Pro Bowl rosters are set, and we have some help from a seven-time Pro Bowler ourselves to work through the madness.
We got to punch it in. We punch it in, we win. You're a liability out here. You can't guard me. I'm not even on you. You can't guard me. Hey, yo, tell your homeboy they liabilities.
Nah, he was one of the best talkers on the football field. Seven-time Pro Bowler Torrey Helt joining us, also a Super Bowl champion. Torrey, thanks for being with us alongside Charles Davis. Absolutely. And guys, we're going to get to the Pro Bowl rosters momentarily, but first, big game tonight for the Eagles and the Vikings. Charles, what's going to be key as they get set to kick off in about an hour?
Well, I think for the Eagles, it's very simply this. Their script to open up the game, I think they're scripting to attack. None of this probing stuff. Let's get the Vikings knocked out of the way. They're fragile in terms of confidence anyway. The Eagles need it. They need to go after it right away.
I agree. I mean, they're going to come out there at home. They understand the importance of winning this game. You'll see a lot of Michael Vick throwing some balls down the football field to Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy Maclin. So I think the Eagles will continue to be on the attack. And the Vikings better have their stuff together tonight if they're going to try to get a win in Philly.
Jason Lockenfora told us this afternoon that Brett Favre would be inactive. Torrey, how do you think that that's going to affect what the Vikings do on offense and what the Eagles do?
With Brett Favre being inactive? I don't think that does anything with the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, they're going to come out tonight. They're going to play. They're going to pressure. If Favre doesn't play, they're going to pressure Joe Webb. They're going to put it in his hands and going to see if he can win the football game for him. So I don't think it'll affect the Philadelphia Eagles in their mindset and what they're going to get accomplished tonight.
Yeah, it affects the Vikings' mindset because with the Brett, you know you're always thinking in the back of your head, is there one more time that he brings it along and gives you that magic and gives you a chance to win? He did it on the first drive against Chicago before he went out. But with Joe Webb, you're thinking about managing the rookie and making sure he can make a few plays and helping him more, whereas Brett would help himself.
All right, for the very latest on what's happening in Philadelphia and the weather, let's check in live now with Albert Freer. Albert?
Well, Fran, it really is amazing that there was a blizzard here 2 days ago. If you look out on the field, they've removed 2.6 million pounds of snow from this facility. I walked the field earlier. Conditions couldn't be better. It's almost like a single flake didn't fall out there. Now, the big story, like you said, is Favre will be out tonight. But the Eagles come into this game relatively healthy. Now, they did put a couple of rookies on IR this week, and Nate Allen and Brandon Graham. Another rookie, and Kurt Coleman, will replace Allen. But outside of that, they've been really lucky in that department. Deshaun Jackson and Asante Samuel are back to full strength and in that lineup for the playoff push. And tonight's a big one in that regard for the Eagles. They can work towards that second seed. If they get some help from the Green Bay Packers next week, they could be in position to get a first-round bye. Back to you guys.
All right, Albert, stay warm. We'll check back in with Albert in about 19 minutes. Guys, we mentioned at the top of the show, Pro Bowl rosters are set. Let's unveil them, and we're going to start with the NFC. And speaking of the Eagles, let's start with starting quarterback Michael Vick, guys, who's had 28 total touchdowns this season and is building a campaign, Torrey, for an MVP season. I
mean, it's really a no-brainer. I mean, this guy's had an outstanding season. He's only had, what, maybe 10, 11 starts this year for this football team. He's been an instant spark since he's been in the lineup. So it's really good to see Michael Vick with the redemption of his career and being a Pro Bowl selection.
And Vick has the Eagles potentially deep in that playoff chase. How about Matt Ryan from Atlanta, his first career Pro Bowl, Charles?
Yeah, remember last year as a sophomore, his second year, he had a little bit of a tough time, bounced back and seeing the continued maturation of the guy they call Matty Ice. And boy, in the fourth quarter, he loves having the ball in his hands.
Just his second loss at home coming Monday night against the Saints. And speaking of the Saints, it was at the hands of that man right there, Drew Brees.
The Super Bowl champ. I mean, he continues to get it done, and he's getting it done here late in the season. 7 of the last games, 8 games they've won, and it's been because of Drew Brees.
32 touchdowns for Brees. and these Saints still have an opportunity to potentially grab home field advantage. All right, let's get back to the Falcons and check out the receivers. What a campaign Roddy White is having. You even have to be impressed.
I am very impressed with Roddy White. I mean, he's getting it done for this football team, and he's been battling injuries this year, too. But he's showing some toughness by showing up and getting it done for his football team, and now he's selected to its 3rd Pro Bowl.
Career high 109 receptions for White. Calvin Johnson doing his thing, his first career Pro Bowl, Charles.
Megatron finally getting the big stage that he deserves. He was an alternate in 2008, and even more impressive, 3 different quarterbacks throwing the football to him this year. He produces each and every week.
Tori, now to a man who we're going to see tonight, Deshaun Jackson, who displays such explosiveness at this position.
So much explosion. 2nd-time Pro Bowl, 2-time Pro Bowl selection. The St. Louis Rams had a chance to get this guy, and they passed up on him, and he is making not only the Rams pay, but he's making the National Football League pay.
Boy, the St. Louis Rams crept in there in a hurry, didn't they? I'm telling you.
Charles, now to Greg Jennings, a guy who just quietly goes about his business, but he's one of the better receivers in the National Football League.
He's been one of those guys that gets mentioned at this time of year every year, Fran, finally getting to his first Pro Bowl, and well-deserved. He and Aaron Rodgers have a special connection throwing the football.
And now let's flip it over to the running backs. Michael the Burner Turner, his 2nd career Pro Bowl. And Tori, he leads the NFL in rushing, NFC in rushing with over 1,300 yards.
And he makes it easy for Matt Ryan with the way they run the football. Now that sets up the play action. And we know how Matty Ice does when he has time to look down the football field and find the open receivers.
Adrian Peterson says he's going to play tonight despite that banged-up thigh. It's his 4th straight Pro Bowl, Charles.
Yeah, and the good thing for him, if Leslie Frazier keeps this job, he knows that this offense runs through number 28. It doesn't run through the quarterbacks. It's going to run through Adrian Peterson. And with his violent style of running,
yes,
look out in the future.
And my guy.
1,149 yards. Your guy, Steven Jackson. Jackson coming up a 3rd in the NFC in rushing. And he just runs and he plays so hard.
He does. And big ups to Steven Jackson. I mean, the Rams don't have a lot on offense, but they do have one staple, and that's Steven Jackson, as you see there cutting, and he runs with a physical style, and he also has speed and a burst. Congratulations, Mr. Jackson.
And he's had to battle through all those losing seasons, and now they have an opportunity to win the NFC West. Let's round out the NFC offensive roster. Tony Gonzalez is going to go to his 11th career Pro Bowl, and Dallas center Andre Gerard is going to pick up his 5th. And then you got a couple of solid linemen in Sean O'Hare, Jason Peters for the Eagles, and Jason Witten, 90 receptions. Wow. It leads tight ends, and it's right up there with the top receivers, just 19 behind Ronnie White, and 8 touchdowns for the Cowboys tight end. Who stands out for you on the offensive side for the NFC?
Oh, man, I would say Deshaun Jackson. I mean, again, we talked about his explosive ability, his ability to change games at any given moment. So he stands out the most for me right now in the NFC. Just a tremendous talent, and he has a guy in Michael Vick who's getting him the football, can get it to him in any spot.
Are you surprised that he's been able to come in the league and set it on fire the way he has? Because he's not a very big guy.
No, he's not.
And there have been guys who are quick in the National Football League, but he just seems to have a knack for making the big play at the big time.
And I'm not surprised. You know, some guys have that thing what we call the it. Well, he's one of those guys. You know, he had an opportunity to work with Jerry Rice coming out of college. I think Jerry has helped him in his maturation as a receiver in the National Football League. And it's showing up. I mean, 22.8 yards per catch on 45 receptions. Who does that?
And what's underestimated about him is his toughness. You remember the hit he took earlier this year from Dante Robinson, missed a time with a concussion, came back, didn't miss a beat.
All right, Charles, who are you looking at that pops out at you?
My guy, Megatron, Calvin Johnson, all right? Let's be honest about this whole thing with him. This guy has gotten it together for the Detroit Lions. No complaints. No issues, despite all the losing. There are games where they only throw the ball to him 3-4 times in a game, which makes you wonder what you're thinking about. His first 3 years in the league, guys, 3 different offensive coordinators. You never heard a word about it. He practices hard, he studies his craft, and now he's got the opportunity to finally get what he deserves, a trip to Hawaii. Megatron, you've earned it, man.
Absolutely.
Charles, who was left off the NFC offensive list for you?
Well, it jumps out right to me at quarterback position. I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. All right, right away you think to yourself, no one is more valuable to his team than that quarterback, and that's Aaron Rodgers. No argument with the other guys who made it, but I'm having a hard time thinking to myself, Aaron Rodgers is not going to the Pro Bowl? We saw what he's done for this ball club. When he didn't play most of the game against Detroit, they get beat. He comes back in the last game against the Giants after a concussion, over 400 yards, and he's been a big part of their running game. Against the Falcons, he was their leading rusher. Aaron Rodgers staying home doesn't make sense to me.
And I agree. I have to agree with Charles. I mean, this guy is the spark plug, is the energy, is everything for the Green Bay Packers on that offensive side of the football. And they had an opportunity up in New England with Flynn at the quarterback position. I got to believe if Aaron Rodgers would have been quarterback in that game, they would have went in New England and won that ball game. And we saw last week what he meant to this football team with the performance that he had when they dominated the Giants. So it's hard for me to believe and accept that Aaron Rodgers is not going to the Pro Bowl this year.
All right, much more on the Pro Bowl rosters coming up on NFL Total Access. Also, much more coming up on this Vikings-Eagles matchup. Michael Vick loosening up, 28 total touchdowns.
Go get him, Vick.
Tom Brady has 34 passing and 35 total touchdowns. And there you see Percy Harvin loosening up. Kickoff for the Eagles and Vikings at the Link coming up in fewer than 50 minutes. More from the Tuesday night matchup is on the way on NFL Total Access. We're going to get another live report from Albert Freer at the Link 30 minutes before kickoff. Plus in the AFC, did Peyton Manning's stretch of 11 picks in 3 straight games kill his chances of going to Hawaii? Or the underachieving Chargers, did they undermine Phillip Rivers' chances for the Pro Bowl? The AFC on the way. And Aaron Rodgers powered through, returning from a concussion for a career day against the Giants. But was it the best performance of the week?
Yeah, you talked about putting your best step forward right there. That's outstanding. All right? 2 things to hit all week. Takeaways, turnover ratio, 6 turnovers. Great job, man. Big play opportunities, great point production. Let's do the schedule exactly the same way as we did last week. Yeah. All right? Yeah. And in that weight room, let's get healthy. Let's get after it. Chicago can't get here fast enough.
NFL Total Access is brought to you by Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. And by FedEx. We understand. You need a winning game plan. FedEx.
A broken heart, I can't help you. Rocket science, don't know what to tell you. I may not know how to get you to the moon, but I sure do know what the 1992 firing order is. Before you pick up your plug wires on to cure that little hiccup. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I think about.
Now you can enjoy music on your iPod with Bose quality sound, delivered by a small, elegant system that's portable. The Bose Sound Dock Portable Digital Music System. Unplug it and take it where you want to go. For a performance unmatched by other battery-powered systems this small. For a limited time, save 10% and enjoy performance to go. The Bose Sound Dock Portable Digital Music System. Performance that's portable.
Do you want to experience Super Bowl 45 and the 2011 Pro Bowl? NFL on Location can take you there. It's the official source for NFL event experiences and hospitality. Complete packages, exclusive access, and more direct from the NFL. For more information, visit NFLOnLocation.com. You want the NFL? Go to the NFL.
With NFL.com's Game Rewind, you can relive every big NFL moment again and again. Watch every game in HD and on demand. With unlimited access, you can search video of every single game. Fast forward and rewind the most exciting action. Oh my! Touchdown! Share your favorite plays amongst fellow fans and friends with Game Rewind's chat feature. Relive this season's NFL games again and again. Sign up now at NFL.com/Game Rewind. You want the NFL? Go to the NFL.
Sunday is game day.
It's game day. Bring game for football.
No one covers game day like Game Day Morning, Sunday at 9, only on NFL Network.
All I want
is this to be your football home?
Well, it's been 64 years since the NFL played a game on Tuesday. Here's how Tuesday football looked on October 1st, 1946, when the New York Giants defeated the Boston Yanks 17-0 at Fenway Park.
Brad, look at the football.
The white ball.
Look at the ball, the white football that they used to use at night. I love that.
Well, Michael Vick would have played with the snow, not necessarily on the field. They would have shoveled it off. There would have been snow in the stands. It would have been a whole different situation had they played this game Sunday. But now, as you see, they did a great job of clearing the stadium, clearing the field. The weather is perfect for Tuesday night football coming up in fewer than 45 minutes. Wednesday, Field Pass here on NFL Network. Replay doubleheader at 8 p.m. Eastern. The Jets taking on the Bears in that wild offensive shootout, followed by the Saints and Falcons. And then sound effects at 10:30. It's going to take you inside the huddle, down on the field, in the locker room. Here's a taste.
Man, we don't control anything about anything else but what we do next week. Next week, we got to go to New Orleans. We control our own destiny in that game. That's our playoff game. Let's just go win it, figure out what we play, and figure out what happens. We started this thing instead of race to 10, and everybody thought we was crazy. We got a chance to get 10 wins next week. Man, let's just, yes, sir. Let's just go out and get it, and figure out what happens after that. You guys like that? Yes, sir.
So look now at who powered through, presented by Vicks.
Manning. He's going to roll out himself. He's got it 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. He slides out. Stop. Keep the clock going. Peyton Manning on a 26-yard run. Second longest of his career. And the Colts have a first down.
Manning showing off his wheels, but you liked what you heard from Raheem Morris.
Oh, I love that. I mean, as a young player, as any player in the National Football League, for your head coach to step in the locker room and talk the way he talks to his football team, from a coach's perspective, but as well as a player's perspective, I mean, you gotta go out and play for this guy, and that's what they're doing for Raheem Morris down there with the Tampa Bay Bucks. This football team is going to be good for a long time.
All right, other players who powered through, Aaron Rodgers, you guys talked about it in the last segment, a career high of 404 yards and 4 passing touchdowns, coming back from a concussion, Charles.
Guy's toughness is one of the things that's underestimated. Remember his first year taking over for Brett Favre. He played with a shoulder that he should not have been playing with. Never said a word about it. We didn't find out about it until after the season was over. So Brett Favre set the standard for toughness in all the starts. But Aaron Rodgers, he followed that tradition pretty well.
What about Jay Cutler, the Chicago Bears? Many people believe that they were eventually tank, but they're playing great football all the way around.
Since the bye week, I mean, you got to credit Coach Mike Morris. You got to credit Mike Tice for the job that he's done with the offensive line. And then Jay Cutler for really now starting to understand what this offense is all about. He's getting the ball out of his hands quicker, and then they're establishing a run game. But that combination in what they do with the passing game, they're going to be tough.
The second straight week, Peyton Manning virtually guarantees the Colts a victory.
Yeah, you heard Raheem Morris talking about next week's our playoff game to get things started. Well, the Colts have been in playoff games really for the last couple of weeks. Had to beat Jacksonville to stay alive. Had to beat Oakland to stay in front and still stay on track. They'll have to do that again to finish things off. Peyton Manning understands what a playoff drive's all about.
That was a look at who powered through, presented by Vicks for Week 16. Tuesday Night Football, Vikings, Eagles. Michael Vick trying to add to his case as NFL MVP as Philly tries to secure a first-round bye.
EA Sports. It's in the game. Madden NFL 11 from EA Sports is here for the holidays. Through an exclusive partnership between EA Sports and Sports Illustrated, you can give Madden NFL 11 the full game, the same one sold in stores. Included when you give a gift subscription to Sports Illustrated. Looking for the perfect holiday gift? Supplies are limited, so call or go online to simaddengift.com. Get 28 issues of Sports Illustrated for only $39.95. And also give Madden NFL 11, included with your paid gift subscription. And there's more. EA Sports takes you behind the scenes in their special edition DVD, The Making of Madden NFL, the #1 sports video game of all time. This exclusive holiday package is available only with your paid gift subscription to Sports Illustrated. This package at retail would cost almost $200, but through this amazing offer, just $39.95, you can give all this holiday cheer a gift subscription to Sports Illustrated. EA Sports Madden NFL 11, The Making of Madden NFL DVD. Catch the holiday spirit while supplies last. Go online, simaddengift.com, or call now.
I I got 23 touchdowns with these gloves. I wear this jersey to every game with my dad.
These shoes are magic, and they still got a lot left in them. So I'm going to give somebody else the power.
Donate your gear at any sports authority and help kids get active. And to keep you in the game, you'll get a $10 Sports Authority cash card for donating your football gear and apparel.
Who's next?
'Cause you got personality, warm personality, cold personality, smile personality, strong personality, love personality, and plus you got a great big heart. So over and over.
There's no one else like you. Customize your NFL gear at NFLshop.com. You want the NFL? Go to the NFL.
We've got the playoffs covered on NFL Network. Start each game day with NFL Game Day Morning. Total Access brings you live updates from every team, every day.
Where else would you want to be?
Break down the game film with our experts on Playbook. And every postseason game is enhanced with NFL Replay.
It's time to do what we do.
No one covers the playoffs like NFL Network.
We got you covered.
For nearly 50 years, they've shown us America's game like we've never seen before.
Devin Hester, you are ridiculous.
Caught by Clark. Tennessee has pulled a miracle.
They take us deep inside the game.
This is why you lift all them weights.
They still know to hate me.
They capture the struggle. Reveal the heart.
Love you, Jonas. I love you, too.
This one's for John.
And preserve the passion of pro football.
That's what perfection's all about. Cannot describe it. We did it.
One touchdown, we are world champions.
The hair is like standing up on your back.
NFL Films, where football lives forever on NFL Network.
Vic, Jackson, McCoy, Peterson. Eagles, Vikings kick off in 40 minutes. We'll get a live report.
Indomitian Sue with the sack.
Defense dominates. Will Indomitian draw his first Pro Bowl in his rookie season? And the best of the best, the top 10 plays from Week 16.
And he's gone again. He has done it again.
Michael Vick and the Philadelphia Eagles getting set to take on the Minnesota Vikings. The Eagles can finish anywhere from 1 in this playoff chase in the NFC down to the number 3 seed. So a lot can happen with 2 games left to play. Kickoff coming up in about 30 minutes. Say hello to Charles Davis and Torrey Holt. I'm Fran Charles. Guys, we took a look at the NFC offensive roster for the Play Bowl. Let's delve into the AFC stars. And we're going to start at the tippy top. And you know who that is. Tom Brady. Number 1 in the fans vote getting, and the starting quarterback for the AFC. And what more, Charles, can you say about the season he's having?
There's really not too much more you can say, but it's how he got it done. Going from long ball with Randy Moss, a reshaped offense, 2 rookie tight ends, an offensive line that was unsettled at times, and he never wavered.
And Phillip Rivers a year ago, he didn't make it on the first vote, but then a couple of names dropped out. He got his Pro Bowl. No denying Phillip Rivers this year.
Oh, not at all. 30 touchdowns, a quarterback rating of 103.9, 4,397 passing yards with some guys that we don't even know anything about on their roster.
How about Peyton Manning? Were you concerned, Charles, when he had 11 picks in 3 games, that might hurt his chances?
Sure, you're always concerned with that, but you know what's interesting, Fran? If you look at the end numbers, or close to it, 17 interceptions Peyton Manning has on the year. That's what he threw last year when he won an MVP award. It's a matter of when you throw him and what kind of stretch you're going through.
And his 4,436 passing yards tops in the National Football League. Andre Johnson, big physical receiver.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're talking about a consummate pro in the National Football League. You're talking about Andre Johnson, 5 Pro Bowls, 1,200 some odd receiving yards, 8 touchdowns, and 18 catches of 20+. This guy gets it done.
Because of all the injuries that the Colts receiving corps has had, focused a whole lot on Reggie Wayne, but quietly he's over 100 again.
I'm surprised he didn't jump up on a soapbox and say, I know you keep saying he doesn't have anyone to throw to. I'm still here. It's still Reggie Wayne, 5 Pro Bowls, and deservedly so. This guy went from a #2 receiver when Marvin Harrison was there to an unquestioned #1.
And Tori, you have to be happy for a player like Brandon Lloyd, who finally found some big-time success in Denver.
And I am. I mean, it was a lot of promise about this guy coming out of the University of Illinois when he, coming out of college, and now years later, he's now improving why people were talking with him in those regards. So I'm happy for Brandon Lloyd to finally take ownership of his career.
9 catches to 40 yards or more. That's a big number. Dwayne Bowe delivering the goods, Charles.
Dwayne Bowe did it as a true #1. And when we're talking about who your #2 receiver is, we're talking about backs and slot backs, not wide receivers, because Chris Chambers only caught 20 passes thus far. So Dwayne Bowe, he knows he's the target every week and does not mind.
15 touchdowns. Okay, here's where it gets interesting in the AFC. You knew one of these great running backs was going to be left off the team, but not Maurice Jones-Drew.
Pocket Hercules is what it is. Coach Mooch and Deion loves that. Pocket Hercules. I mean, last week they missed him big time. Him being absent in that game, and they lost that game to Washington. But Pocket Hercules has had an outstanding year.
1,324 yards rushing for Maurice Jones-Drew. Arian Foster leads the National Football League in rushing, Charles.
This is the guy that they thought they were going to get coming out of the draft. If he'd come out after his junior year, he had a senior year that was disappointing at Tennessee. This is the Arian Foster everyone knew, and it started on opening day against the Colts, and he never let up.
And what about Jamal Charles? 6.4 yards per carry.
Speed. I mean, this guy reminds me of Chris Johnson from the Tennessee Titans. Some similar style in terms of running the ball, smooth, deceptive, and they open up holes for him in Kansas City. So I'm not surprised at all by his performance this year.
Hey, he's not a very big guy
not
either, but boy, can he run away from defenders who are chasing him. All right, the remainder of the AFC offensive roster here, and a lot of young guys and guys who haven't been to too many Pro Bowls. Congratulations to Vontae Leach of Houston, and also Mercedes Lewis of Jacksonville, who are going to their first Pro Bowl. They've had tremendous seasons. How about Logan Mankins? He's only played in 8 games this year because he held out, one of 6 Patriots to get the nod heading in the Pro Bowl, and Maurkice Pouncey, the rookie from Florida. A lot of talk about Tim Tebow guys coming out this year, but you know what? Maurkice Pouncey, he handled his business quietly. He's been a mainstay for the Steelers on their offensive line. Who stands out to you the most from the AFC offensively, Charles?
Well, for me, it's Brandon Lloyd. Seeing what he's gotten done. You talked about the promise that he held out there, Torrey, that people were looking at. And watching what he did this season with Kyle Orton throwing the football, Josh McDaniels originally installing the offense, it all came to fruition for him this year. The big plays, 9 catches over 40 yards. You mentioned it, Fran. 23 catches of 20 yards or more, and he knows how to work his craft. Some of those subtle movements and getting away from a defensive back, and they turn into big catches downfield.
Absolutely. And for me, we talked about Phillip Rivers last year not getting in and having the season that he had, and then this year coming back and having the same type of season, 30 TDs over 4,000 some odd yards with guys that we didn't know a whole lot about on that roster there. And by the way, he's an NC State Wolfpack guy.
That's right. Yes.
So no question.
So we got the Rams in already. We got the Wolfpack in already.
I got to throw my jab.
He's fast on the field. He's fast off the field as well.
Fran, you and I, we just cannot be liabilities. That's right. You and I cannot be liabilities.
All right, the guys who were left off, who should have been on the team, and there are some interesting guys you could go to in this situation. Charles, let me start with you.
Well, I'm going to go right to Chris Johnson. I mean, the reason I say this is it was crowded in the running back position, and I understand why he's not there. But when you rush for over 2,000 yards a year before, ordinarily that kind of gives you about a 3-year pass where you're going to be on the team, and it's not like he had a miserable year. Okay, he was 2,006 yards last year. We know that you're not going to get that every year. 1,325 yards and 11 touchdowns this year. Without him, they have no offense. CJ2K is the guy I thought about.
It's really interesting when you break it down with Chris Johnson compared to Maurice Jones-Drew. Chris Johnson has 8 100-yard games, Jones-Drew 7. Chris Johnson 11 touchdowns, Jones-Drew 5.
Wow. You know, Fran, those are great stats, and I think what did it for Maurice Jones-Drew was the push towards the AFC South title, and he got them in a row as we headed towards that. Before he didn't play last week, I think he had 6 or 7 games in a row with 100 yards. So the momentum built for him during that time.
And they're all, I mean, he's deserving.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Absolutely.
Who was left off?
I would say Matt Castle for me, you know, coming over from New England and now having some stability there at Kansas City at the quarterback position because of this guy and his presence and the job that he's doing at the quarterback position. As you saw there, a fade at the Bowl, another dig route to Bowl. I mean, this guy is constantly getting it done. He's only missed 1 game, I think, this year. Yep. But over 60% completion rate, 27 touchdowns. Matt Castle.
And what's odd is that if it's anybody else, we're talking a potential MVP season. He's only thrown 5 interceptions.
He's only thrown 5 interceptions, 27 touchdowns, and their football, I mean, they are in the hunt.
Yeah.
And I think when they get in, and they will get in, they're going to make some noise.
They're in.
They're in. They're going to make some noise in the playoffs. I mean, defensively, what they're doing is just astounding. And then offensively, they can run the football with Thomas Jones and Jamal Charles. And then they can also play action and throw the ball deep to Dwayne Bowe. This football team is something to look at.
And Castle's making very few mistakes. We're going to flip it on the defensive side and check out the AFC and NFC rosters. And also, we're taking you up to kickoff between the Vikings and Eagles. Shady McCoy. He was left off the Pro Bowl list there. Joe Webb's going to get his second career start. Coming up, we have NFL Total Access. We'll wrap things up for you after the game. All right, actually his first career start. I knew I had it right the first time. Saints knocked off the Falcons, but with the playoffs looming, who's truly more dangerous?
Give you a kiss if you call fly to dual seam. Let's go right now. Jumping jacks, whatever you need. Love it, come on, let's go.
Sound effects, Tony Romo. Tonight at 10:30, only on NFL Network.
No Huddle, the road to Dallas. Our experts don't hold back.
Whatever you are hired for is the thing that eventually is going to get you fired.
No Huddle, the road to Dallas premieres Thursday at 8, only on NFL Network.
KFC Hot Wings. Taste so good, they don't need sauce. Crispy on the outside with chili pepper and spices that explode with every bite. Try 5 KFC Hot Wings today for just $3. KFC. Tastes so good.
Do you want to experience Super Bowl 45 and the 2011 Pro Bowl? NFL on Location can take you there. It's the official source for NFL event experiences and hospitality. Complete packages, exclusive access, and more direct from the NFL. For more information, visit NFLOnLocation.com. You want the NFL? Go to the NFL.
This is the Evo 4G. This is Android, which powers the Evo. This is something nice someone said about the Evo. So is this. And this. And all this. And this is something really, really nice that someone said about the Evo. Well, we thought it was nice. This is the HTC Evo 4G, only from Sprint, the Now Network.
With NFL.com's Game Rewind, you can relive every big NFL moment again and again. Watch every game in HD and on demand. Sign up now at NFL.com/Game Rewind. You want the NFL? Go to the NFL. NFL Fantasy Live, your home for fantasy football. With a 90-minute live show every Sunday leading up to kickoff. With our interactive controls, you choose which segment to watch.
That's been his 3-year average. Who is going to cover them? Get back to what made you good.
Or go live as our fantasy experts help you set your lineup for the day.
All those are interesting options.
Get the last-minute edge over your competition. NFL Fantasy Live, Sundays at 11:30, exclusively on NFL.com.
We live in dark times.
Brought upon us by the Black Witch. This January.
Do you believe I'm evil?
You must destroy her powers. One man's journey.
You know we're being followed.
Let's give him a royal welcome.
One man's courage.
If she is not what you say, she will not be yours to burn.
Will decide the fate.
Don't be deceived. She'll turn one man against another.
Of mankind.
We're gonna need more holy water.
Season of The Witch. Rated PG-13.
Coming up tomorrow on Playbook. How can the Ravens win the AFC North? And where does Tom Brady's record-setting season rank among the many highlights of his career? Playbook, tomorrow at 6, only on NFL Network.
The Vikings may be missing a Brett Favre, but Adrian Peterson is going to give it a go. Peterson's trying to battle back from a thigh injury that was caused when he collided knees with Tavares Jackson. Andy Reid does it again as a young football team, but they've won the NFC East, and now they have an opportunity to grab a bye week for the playoffs if they continue to win against Minnesota and also against Dallas. Time now for Buy or Sell, presented by Verizon, and for that we're going to go back to the Monday night matchup, guys, between the Saints and the Falcons. NFC supremacy on the line. Falcons had an opportunity to grab home field advantage as well. Let's get right to the drama. Saints up 10-7. Drew Brees under duress, and Chauncey Davis takes it back 26 yards. He makes some great plays, but eventually sometimes that stuff you're going to get burned.
Yeah, he does. But Drew is, he's trying to make a play there. I think he should have tucked that down, but that's Drew. You live and die with those type of plays with him.
Comes right back, though, finds Jimmy Graham, Saints, and they go on to win it.
Because he does a lot of that.
14-10. He does. I believe he's done that 32 times. So, buy or sell. Tori, let me start with you. Who's more dangerous moving forward in the playoffs, Falcons or the Saints?
I think the Saints. I like the Saints. They're the defending champions, and it's just hard to not go with those guys. They are battle-tested, as Drew Brees mentioned last night. They played in the big game, and their defense, I think, is now starting to create some turnovers, which allows Drew Brees and that offense to get back on the football field that much more. And when they're on the field, they are very dangerous. So you're seeing some of the formula in what they had last year when they won it all. If they could just continue it down the stretch and into the playoffs, this team is going to be tough to beat.
Now, this is a Saints team that worried me, guys, going into this game against Atlanta. Why? Because I saw Ray Rice have his way running the football against them, and I thought Michael Turner is going to enjoy this one, all right? It turned out to be the opposite. They held him down. I gave up one big run to him, and after that, shut him down a lot of negative runs. Think about it last night. They only gave up 7 points on defense. The other 7 came on the interception return. So if they put that defense together with the explosiveness on offense that they normally have, they've got to be the dangerous team going in.
All right, let's stay in the NFC quickly and let me set this up. The Packers beat the Bears. They're in the playoffs. If the Giants beat the Redskins, they need the Packers to lose to get into the postseason. Who makes the playoffs? Who are you buying or selling, Giants or Packers?
I'm actually going to buy the Packers, although the Bears have plenty to play for. They potentially still have a #1 seed out there. But I see the Packers at home finding a way to win this game. The Giants, of course, need that help. And I'm a little worried about the Giants' psyche right now because the Washington Redskins are not going to be an easy out. Rex Grossman played very well in these last couple of ball games, so they're off and running now, so it won't be easy. I'm going Packers.
I'm going Packers as well. I think that defense, again, is we saw last week the things that they can do defensively, and then we saw last week the things that they can do offensively. We've seen all year. So I'm going to say the Packers. I got to buy the Packers. They're at the point where they're becoming that much more dangerous down the stretch, what we all talked about in December, playing good football. And that's what they're doing, so the Packers.
And don't forget, we just announced Aaron Rodgers didn't make the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, so you think he's a little...
And on top of this, when things are going bad, they're going bad. The Giants just got back to New York today.
Exactly.
They were stuck in Wisconsin because of the blizzard that was coming. All right, so that was Buy or Sell presented by Verizon. So let's take a look now at the NFC defensive roster for the Pro Bowl. We're going to start with a guy who has been money for the Chicago Bears, potentially the biggest offseason acquisition, Charles, and Julius Peppers. He just wreaks havoc.
Yeah, something about a change of scenery, and everyone in Carolina was saying, well, is that really all it's going to take? Apparently so, and he's really enjoyed his time in Chicago. And when they unleash number 90 at quarterbacks, good things happen for the Bears.
A 6-time Pro Bowl selection. He has 8 sacks, a couple of picks. And the Bears have the 4th scoring defense in the league. So Peppers on his way. John Abraham on his way as well. We saw Abraham with some fine play in the Falcons' loss to the Saints. And Ndamukong Suh, the rookie, having a great season, and he is on his way to the Pro Bowl as well. Clay Matthews getting his 2nd selection, and he started off, Torrey, on fire.
On fire, and he's finishing that way. The pedigree within this family of ball players, and he's the next guy in line. And he's showing up for this Packers defense. Arguably, a guy we can talk about as defensive MVP. That'd be 2 years back-to-back for the Green Bay Packers with 2 defensive MVPs.
And here's how we round out the linebackers in the NFC. Bears fans will be happy about this. Both Lance Briggs and Brian Urlacher, a healthy Brian Urlacher, back going to the Pro Bowl. And also Patrick Willis, a young linebacker in San Francisco, going back for the 4th time. Asante Samuel, just call him ball hawk, Charles.
Yeah, that's a great term for it, Fran, because when the ball is in the air, I'm not sure there's another corner in the league that adjusts and goes and plays the football better than Asante Samuel. You know, you can talk about his coverage, you can talk about his gambling, but he knows where the football is, locates it, and goes and gets it.
D'Angelo Hall had the career day where he had 4 picks against Jay Cutler. He's going to his 3rd Pro Bowl. Charles Woodson just gets better with age. His 7th career Pro Bowl. And now the specialists, a no-brainer here. This guy doesn't even get that many opportunities, but Devin Hester turns him in big time.
Oh, big time, and he knows that. He recognizes that. And when he gets the ball in his hands, his thing is to take it the distance. And he mentioned earlier in the year that he didn't want to play much at the receiving position, and I understand why. Because in the punt game, the punt return game, and the kick return game, this guy is special. He's dangerous, and look at him run right there, so smooth.
David Akers with his 186 games for the Eagles, most ever for that franchise. And Eric Weems, the return man for the Atlanta Falcons, he is going to the Pro Bowl as well. Who stands out from a defensive perspective, Charles?
Well, Charles Woodson, going back, Torrey just mentioned the Packers have a chance to have back-to-back defensive players of the year. What was Charles Woodson last year? And his level of play has not decreased. He goes after the football. He can blitz from the corner and from inside the slot. He has 5 forced fumbles on the year, including 1 that he picked up and ran in for a touchdown. Charles Woodson does it all.
And you're staying with the Packers, Torrey.
I'm staying with the Packers. I'm going to go right to Charles' teammate, Clay Matthews. I mean, the guy has just been outstanding for this football team. Quick note here, he has the Packers are 2nd in scoring and 9th in total defense, and he's the main reason why I would say Clay Matthews.
Charles, who got left off?
Well, for me, it's Brent Grimes from the Atlanta Falcons. I thought that he played a terrific year at the corner. And Dante Robinson, who was brought in as their high-priced free agent, he's a good football player. But Brent Grimes, a little bit overlooked. An undrafted free agent out of Shippensburg. Watch his feet work when he's out on the field. He'll tackle you. He'll pick off the pass. He'll create plays. I really like Brent Grimes this season.
Plus, he's got a ridiculous vertical. I mean, he can get up in the air. Torrey, who do you believe got left off?
I'm going to go with Charles Johnson. The Carolina Panthers, Julius Peppers left last year, and they needed someone to step up there at the defensive end position. And this guy has done that. The Panthers have to be excited about the future with this guy on the end. 11.5 sacks, a young player. Charles Johnson. A lot of people don't know about him, but they will start to learn about him by the end of this show, now and especially next year.
Yeah, I think because of the poor season that they've had, that certainly did not help them. All right, and that takes care of the NFC. What about the AFC? Defense. Both Troy Polamalu and Ed Reed missed time because of injuries. Will it hurt their chances of making All-Star status?
Listen to the news. That's so fitting.
Pizza Hut stuffed crust pizza is now just $10.
It's crazy.
This has got to be the high point of my life.
Where was this excitement on our wedding day?
Pizza Hut's one and only stuffed crust pizza with your favorite topping for only $10 for a limited time. Only $10 and only at your Pizza Hut.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education.
Right up here.
So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour
Lights there, darts there.
to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Find out how you can live United for education. Give, advocate, volunteer. Go to liveunited.org.
Do you wear this?
What if a moment standing still could be just as beautiful when it breathes? If some moments preferred to take their time. If photography moved us and we moved photography, and we could all see beyond the still. Moving photography in 1080p Full HD, pioneered with EOS, inspired by Canon.
Ate something loaded with fat? We got a beef with that.
25 of our Campbell's Chunky Soups give you 100% lean meat and a full serving of vegetables. So come on, have the Chunky Soup from Campbell's. It's amazing what soup can do.
Join the movement. Pledge to play 60 at NFLRush.com.
Sunday is game day. No one covers game day like game day morning, Sunday at 9, only on NFL Network. Sunday is game day.
It's game day.
No one covers game day like game day.
Brett Favre scratched from tonight's game, talking to Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie. Favre did not pass a concussion test all week long, so the NFL steps in and says that's it. He will not be playing, and the Vikings making that decision public. Time now for the Pro Bowl selections as we take a look at the defense of the American Football Conference. Dwight Freeney gets it done again. He has 9 sacks and 5 forced fumbles, Tori.
He's just he's consistent. I mean, what more can you say about Dwight Freeney? 6 Pro Bowl, 9 sacks, 5 fumbles. I know I've been calling out a lot of stats, but Pro Bowl is predicated a lot on stats, and this guy continues to get it done.
And his teammate, the other defensive end, Robert Mathis, is going to be there as well. Mathis making his 3rd Pro Bowl. Richard Seymour, his 6th Pro Bowl, and Vince Wilfork, his 3rd, one of 6 Pats on their way to Hawaii. Ray Lewis, Pro Bowl number 11, and slow down maybe a touch, but just a hair. That's it.
Just a hair.
It's not much of a slowdown because he knows where to get on the field, and with his positioning and his film study, that makes up for what little bit of slowdown he has. I haven't heard a single running back say that they felt he slowed down when he's running through them.
And you know what? Another thing, when you get in your, I said this before, you get in your 30s, and Ray obviously is that the energy in which you have to have to play. I mean, he still exudes that every Sunday.
James Harrison fined $125,000, but he's still going to Hawaii. And Cameron Wake leads the NFL with 14 sacks. Well, nobody wants to throw the ball this young man's way. Darrelle Revis going to his 3rd Pro Bowl. And between he and Nnamdi Asomugha, many people believe those two right there are the best cover corners in the league.
Yeah, arguably they are. You know, Revis is a constant there for that Jets defense, and he'll be that way for a while. So no surprise here seeing him being selected to his 3rd Pro Bowl.
No surprise with Polamalu and Ed Reed, but how about that young Patriots secondary? Devin McCourty and also Brandon Merriweather going as well.
Yeah, it's really something because all year long, what have we heard about the Patriots? That the weak link of the Patriots is their defense.
Yeah.
And what are we talking about? Pro Bowlers, 2 in the secondary.
And finally, how about the year that this young man has had, Mark Mariani?
Who is this guy?
Tennessee
I can
Titans.
help you with that. You want to know who Mark Mariani is?
Tell me?
Mark Mariani was a recruited walk-on at the University of Montana. Later became a roommate of Jeff Fisher's son, the head coach of the Tennessee Titans.
Wow.
He is from Havre, Montana, home of the Havre Blue Ponies, and this guy's going to the Pro Bowl.
Wow, only in America.
And here are the remainder of the specialists for the AFC. Shane Lechler with that big foot going to his 6th Pro Bowl. Who stands out to you, Charles, from the defensive perspective on the AFC side?
One of the guys you pointed out already, Fran, Brandon Merriweather. The reason why is that he had a rough start. When you're talking about getting this season going, and Bill Belichick actually used the coach's best friend to get his attention, the bench. Bench this guy. He bounced back from it, great attitude, and has turned himself into a Pro Bowl safety yet again. Brandon Merriweather off the deck and back out on the field.
Remember, he was one of the players who was caught up in that 1 week, and when all the big fines went out, had that hit on top heap and got fined $50,000. And you mentioned it, Belichick sent him to the bench.
Yeah. And I'm going to stay with his teammate, Devin McCourty. I mean, the year that this rookie has had, a lot of talks about the Patriots and their defense. But he's come out and had a great year, 6 interceptions this season. As a rookie, and the way he's playing in man-to-man, and as well as how he's playing in zone coverage. And then he also has punt return and kickoff return ability as well.
You think there's any way he'll pay for his brother to go also, Jason McCourty?
Oh, you know he's bringing his brother. He's got to bring his twin.
Quickly, who was left off, Charles?
Well, for me, it's Derek Johnson of the Kansas City Chiefs. I thought he had his best season as a pro. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Over 100 tackles. This guy's terrific in coverage also. He's got 15 passes broken up. You don't see that often from a linebacker with his abilities, but they've moved him. He got moved inside. As the Kansas City Chiefs team has played well, so it hasn't just been the offense. He made his first push for a Pro Bowl. He might have a chance next year now that he's on the radar.
And let's stay with the linebackers. I would say Lamar Woodley or the Steelers. All the Steelers linebackers could be Pro Bowl guys.
He really could.
I mean, these guys get it done week in and week out. Lamar Woodley is a guy, 8.5 sacks, 2 picks, 1 for a touchdown, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 recoveries. He's all over the football field for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Dick LeBeau, he allows those linebackers to run and get active, and that's what they do.
Yeah, Lawrence Timmons is asking for a little shout-out, too, because he had a great year.
Absolutely.
And if you missed any of the Pro Bowl rosters, and he's going to be going to Hawaii, make sure you check us out at 8 Eastern on NFL Network for the Pro Bowl Selection Show. Top 10 plays from Week 16 coming up next.
NFL Total Access is brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Not all zeros are created equal. And sponsored by Vicks DayQuil.
Hard left turn in 15 feet. Punch it. Dramatic right turn. Stomp on the brakes.
For drivers who want to get the most out of their cars, it's Bridgestone or nothing.
Do you want to experience Super Bowl 45 and the 2011 Pro Bowl? NFL on Location can take you there. It's the official source for NFL event experiences and hospitality. Complete packages, exclusive access, and more direct from the NFL. For more information, visit NFLOnLocation.com. You want the NFL? Go to the NFL.
Hey, Marty, did you just text me that my house is an eyesore?
It's okay. I switched to Sprint $69.99 plan, so I get unlimited text.
This email says it's ho-horrendous.
Email and web are unlimited, too.
Why don't you look me in the eye, Marty?
I just pulled up your holiday e-card. Ooh, the sweaters.
Unlimited text, web, and calling to any mobile for just $69.99 a month. Now buy a new BlackBerry Style and get one free. Only from Sprint, the Now Network.
Relive the best games from Week 16. As the Jets battle the Bears and the Saints take on the Falcons. NFL replay tomorrow starting at 8, only on NFL Network.
If you
didn't watch NFL Game Day Final, here's what you missed.
The guy has thrown 319 passes and has not thrown one pick. Are you kidding me?
NFL Game Day Final, Sunday at 11:30, only on NFL Network.
Let's enjoy this just tonight, right? Just tonight. Because tomorrow when we wake up, man, it's on to the next one. That's what you got to do. When you get in the middle of this, you got to go right on to the next one. We'll handle a normal victory Monday. But listen, but when the mindset tomorrow, when you wake up, is that this one is done and over, and we're moving on to the next one.
Steve Spagnuolo trying to get his troops fired up after a big victory. Time now for the top 10 plays of the week presented by Nike. Boom! Dwayne Boom! Boom! 75 yards, says 15 touchdowns this year. Not a bad route, not a bad foot race.
Not at all. I mean, he's showing up this year. He's doing a lot better job of catching the ball with his hands and recognizing the ball early.
How about Jacoby Ford, his third career return for a touchdown? He's just a rookie, Charles.
The little man providing big plays.
All right, to Ted Ginn Jr. in St. Louis.
23-yard line, right up the middle, 30, 35, 40. Ginn's going to crease 50. Newt Smithfield, he's gone. Ted Ginn has finally done it. He's taken one home. Touchdown, 49ers.
78 yards on the punt return for Ted Ginn. How about the presence of mind here, Torrey, of Kellen Winslow to realize he was not touched?
Just in tune in the game. You know, his mind is in the game. Didn't feel anybody touch him, and he's up. He's trying to get in that end zone. He's still in that end zone.
1 or 2 touchdowns for Winslow on the day. John Abraham with great athleticism, Charles.
Terrific job by Big Abe. Bats it in the air, catches it. And if Drew Brees doesn't make that tackle, he probably steps all the way to the end zone.
We're giving Peyton Manning a lot of credit here for sliding and letting the clock run out. He could have scored.
Yeah, he could have scored, but it's just another example of the headiness of Peyton Manning.
But if he scores, it's a 2-score game.
27-yard scamper, second longest of his career. DeAndre Levy with a huge pick, Charles, for a team that has had issues on the road.
And this is a Detroit Lions team that's building, strong down the middle. Ndamukong Suh at tackle, Levy at linebacker, Louis Delmas at safety.
Coming in at number 3, top 10 plays of the week presented by Nike. I know you don't like to see this too much, but the defensive back, a young defensive back, doing pretty well, and Eric Berry.
I mean,
yeah.
These young guys in the National Football League are continuing to show up week in and week out for their football teams, and Eric Berry, great play by him.
Sets the throw, leading Knox down the left sideline, up in the air, end zone, touchdown Bears! Johnny Knox from Jay Cutler.
I'm not sure which was prettier, the catch or the throw from Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler was sweet in the cold.
At number 1, LeGarrette Blount.
There he goes.
Running the high hurdles. 48 yards. He's been a tremendous story this year.
Yeah, he has. He's a tremendous, look at the athleticism there. And again, the Bears.
Top 10 plays of the week presented by Nike. Quickly, let's give you one of the latest headlines in the National Football League. Steelers strong safety Troy Polamalu is going to know Friday whether he'll be able to suit up in Pitt's final game of the year against the Browns. He's got that right Achilles injury. Head coach Mike Tomlin says if he doesn't practice Wednesday or Thursday, he's not playing. Or if he doesn't, he's not going to practice Wednesday and Thursday. If he doesn't practice Friday, he's not playing, and he's missed the last 2 weeks with the injury. All right, notable first-time selections for the Pro Bowl. Who stands out?
Guy that stands out to me is Greg Jennings. He's been consistently getting it done for the Green Bay Packers on the offensive side of the ball, along with Donald Driver and Jordy Nelson and those guys that they have there. But for him to be selected for his first time this year, I think is outstanding. So big ups to Greg Jennings, 5th in the league in reception yards, an outstanding talent.
Yeah, for me, it's Ndamukong Suh with the Detroit Lions. The rookie with all the hype has more than lived up to it. His defensive coordinator, Gunther Cunningham, says he hasn't seen anything like him at all. And remember, Cunningham tutored the Chargers defensive line, the Chiefs defensive line, and they were both forces.
It's a big statement.
Let the conjecture begin for the players who were left off the Pro Bowl rosters, but we'll save that for a later day. Don't go anywhere. The Pro Bowl selection show is coming up next year on NFL Network. We've got it all covered for you.
Thrilling history of the Miami Dolphins is now yours to own in an exciting new DVD from NFL Films.
All right, Miami. How about that one?
Vikings. Available now at NFLshop.com or wherever DVDs are sold. The 50-year history of the Minnesota Vikings is now yours to own on an exciting new DVD from NFL Films. Own the history of the Minnesota Vikings. Available now at NFLshop.com or wherever DVDs are sold.